Hey everyone, welcome back to History's Mysteries, the channel where the past is filled with secrets, and silence can be the loudest clue of all. Today, we're diving into a story so strange, so chilling, and so psychologically twisted, it almost defies belief. It's about two sisters who refused to speak to anyone, except each other. They moved in perfect sync, wrote disturbing stories, committed arson, and made a pact so dark it would leave one of them dead, and the other forever changed. This is the true, disturbing story of the silent twins. June and Jennifer Gibbons were born in 1963 in Barbados, but raised in a small town in Wales. To outsiders, they were inseparable, identical. But this wasn't just a case of sisterly closeness. They mirrored each other's every move. They walked in perfect unison, sat the same way, ate in sync. One wouldn't drink unless the other lifted her glass. They were like a pair of reflections trapped in two bodies. Even creepier, they spoke in their own secret language, a sped-up blend of English and Barbadian Creole. It was so fast and complex, it was unintelligible to everyone else. At school, they were bullied and ostracized, the only black children in their community. The cruelty pushed them further inward. They began refusing to speak at all, not to their teachers, not to their parents, only to each other. Their vow of silence earned them a name that would follow them for life: the Silent Twins. As the twins got older, their silence deepened. Their parents, teachers, and even psychologists were baffled. Efforts to separate them, in the hope of helping them develop independently, backfired horribly. When apart, June and Jennifer became completely catatonic. They stopped eating, refused to move. Their bodies would freeze, as if they couldn't function without the other. When reunited, they would break into frantic, animated conversation, but only with each other. It wasn't just silence, it was obsession, codependence, maybe even possession. Inside their shared bedroom, they lived in their own universe. They wrote novels, hundreds of pages of stories with themes of violence, control, and death. One of June's books, The Pepsi-Cola Addict, featured a teenager seduced by a teacher and institutionalized. Another of Jennifer's stories told of a doctor who hypnotized a patient into committing murder. Dark, twisted, and strangely prophetic. By their late teens, the twins' fantasy world began bleeding into reality. They turned to alcohol, then to vandalism, and finally to arson. Between 1981 and 1982, June and Jennifer went on a spree of petty crime and fire-starting, including burning down a tractor store. They were caught, but instead of prison, they were sentenced to Broadmoor Hospital, Britain's most notorious high-security psychiatric facility. It's the same place that once held the Yorkshire Ripper, serial killers, and violent schizophrenics. And June and Jennifer, just 19 years old, were locked inside for 12 years. Inside Broadmoor, things only got stranger. Heavily medicated, under constant surveillance, the twins wrote obsessively in diaries, thousands of pages chronicling their inner torment. And then they made a pact. Journalist Marjorie Wallace, who visited them regularly, began to suspect something was very wrong. The twins had come to believe they couldn't both survive. That, in order for one to live a full life, the other had to die. And they had chosen. Jennifer would die. In their writings, Jennifer said, "We have made a pact. I'm going to have to die now." They had decided that one of them was holding the other back. June would be free, only after Jennifer was gone. And what happened next shocked everyone. In 1993, after more than a decade in Broadmoor, the twins were being transferred to a lower security hospital. As they rode in the van, Jennifer leaned against her sister, eyes closed. By the time they arrived, she was unresponsive. Jennifer Gibbons was dead. The cause? Acute myocarditis, sudden inflammation of the heart. No signs of trauma, no drug overdose, nothing to suggest foul play. Just death. It was like she had willed herself to die. When reporters asked June what happened, her reply was chilling. "Jennifer's dead. She's gone. It's okay. I'm free." In the days after Jennifer's death, something miraculous or disturbing happened. June began to speak, freely, openly, to everyone. It was as if a switch had been flipped. She later said, "We were wearing each other down. My mind was linked with hers. One day she said, 'You're free,' and I knew what she meant." June was released from the hospital a year later. She went on to live a quiet life, under supervision, but outside the walls that once imprisoned them both. She attends writing workshops, lives in West Wales, and occasionally speaks about her sister, though never in depth. The silence lingers. The case of the silent twins has inspired endless theories. Was it a psychic connection? Some believe the twins shared a telepathic bond, so strong it bordered on the supernatural. Their synchronized lives, their mirrored actions, the sudden death. Did they have a split identity? Others see their story as a tragic metaphor. Two halves of one identity, locked in battle for dominance. Could Jennifer's death be the result of a psychological death wish, brought on by extreme enmeshment? And what about the medical mystery? No known cause has ever been found for Jennifer's death. It remains one of the most unexplained and unsettling medical events in a psychiatric facility. Or was this just an institutional failure? Critics argue that locking the girls in Broadmoor for over a decade only worsened their condition, punishing them for being different, not dangerous. Their story raises questions about mental health, identity, racism, and the limits of science in explaining the unexplainable. And to this day, no one truly understands what happened between June and Jennifer Gibbons. So what do you think? Was Jennifer's death natural, or a planned escape from a life of mutual imprisonment? Was their bond psychic, paranormal, or simply the result of isolation and trauma? Why did they believe one of them had to die for the other to live? And what really happened inside Broadmoor? Let me know your theories in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into one of history's most chilling psychological cases, make sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell. Because here on History's Mysteries, we never stop chasing the truth, even when it hides in silence. Until next time, stay curious.